As I was going and entering into this new year, I was very pegged by something that was really troubling to my heart. Um, and I came with that quote to say, "You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you." I said that because you are today where your thoughts have brought you. Please write that down, please. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. Um, as I was going into this new year, I wanted to change some things that could have handicapped me from a positive place. There's a lot of things in our lives that gives us negative emotions. So changing from a negative to a positive thinking pattern is really going to have to transform you and transform your life. And watch this here. That is not always easy. Especially if you have a difficult time, hear me, with change. A lot of us, we say we want change, but if you look at it, change is very difficult, very hard to process in some areas, and some people find it very difficult to adapt to change. Um, Change is really a lifelong struggle for some people. Um, so I want to give you a couple of things that I believe that will help you on this morning. I'm not going to be long. I want to really just really deal with a major, a minor premise and a conclusion. And I think I'll bid you adieu for today. Um, I want you to look at life and I want you to look at a major premise in your life. And this is one of them. I can control my thoughts. I want you to make a conscious decision that in your life that you're getting ready to take ownership of controlling your thoughts. Everything begins with thought before you do anything else. I want you to begin to control your thoughts. I want you to be able to look at life and see the positive things even out of a negative situation. I The last few days I had been down and I felt well at all, and it was not a good way to really start the year. And then the Lord began to arrest me. He said, "I would rather you feel the way that you feel than not to have any feeling at all." I wish I had a witness there. We are getting ready as we are into this new year already. I'm believing that you will change when you get past your emotions. Will y'all write that down? When you get past your emotions, you can actually change. You will be surprised at how many people are very good at speaking words of affirmation in your presence, but behind your back have such a negative disposition. You are not to worry about the negative disposition. You should worry about the good outlooks on things. One thing about me, I don't care how bad a problem is, I look forward to working towards a solution. I look to see the solution. I think it in my mind before I even act on what it actually is. I want you to understand you can control your thoughts. And I want you in this leadership portion with me on this morning. I want you to begin to make a mindset that you are getting ready to start controlling your thoughts. You need to think on positive atmosphere. You need to get into some positive air, some positive energy. You need to be around people who can speak life and not speak death. You need to be around people who know how to give affirmation, not always trying to tear down. You want to be around people who know how to uplift you instead of downsizing you. You'll be amazed at some of the people who are in your close proximity who will always speak negative words of wisdom. You'll be surprised of how many people are good at speaking to your past and speaking to your proclivities and speaking to your areas of weakness than trying to speak to the areas of where your promise is. You have to know how to control your thoughts. I am a person, and y'all know me, I'm very transparent. I was a person that if you said something to me, you would do death for that. And hear me, some of the things that were done were really misdemeanor crimes. Did you hear me? But they did death, amen. Either they went to the hole, they did a life sentence, they were on the Green Mile, y'all ain't saying nothing. And I had to learn how to control my thoughts to just say that that's just what their viewpoint is. It doesn't mean that the world thinks that way. And I'm starting to see that everyone has an audience. Everyone has a certain area in which they move towards. You have to begin begin to say to your own self that I must start controlling my thoughts. Everything does not need to be said. Everything does not need to be aired. Everything does not need to be public notice. There are some things in your life where you're going to have to start controlling your thoughts. You have heard me say for years, think twice before you speak once. Sometimes it's better to study to be quiet than to open your mouth and cause a bigger problem. And I'm learning in this season, there's a lot of people that love to watch and won't say anything. Be very careful of people who want to know all of your business and share none of theirs. You need to be careful. And hear me, my thoughts would be that everyone would care, when theoretically there are some times where people don't care. You have to begin to look at some things. And my thoughts and everything that I do now, I start to look to God. I start to look to how to better handle situations. I made an illustration before, not too long ago, that everyone is right when they come to share their points with you, and how wrong you are, and where you missed the mark, where you messed up, where you erred. And then when you have the floor and you're able to say what your side is, you're wrong. You have to be very careful when people think it's right for them to do it and wrong for you to do it. I was talking to one of my prototypes on last night, and I said, sin is sin. What makes it any different? What is any different for you cause it an infraction and I cause one? It's no different. A sin is a sin. And a lot of us, we're very good at camouflaging, where we'll sit this one down, or we'll write this one up, but we won't touch this one. We have to be very careful that our thought patterns are focused on tunnel vision. I am one now that I'm moving now into a place where I'm just moving in tunnel vision. If you have to know the major premise. You have to control your thoughts. Here's a minor premise. My feelings come from my thoughts. Did y'all hear me? My feelings come from my thoughts, which means that you'll either have a positive or a negative. I was having a conversation the latter part of last year, and in the premise of the conversation, they began to dialogue with me, and they began to say, well, there were some people that noticed this. There were some people that noticed that. There were some people that noticed this. There were some people that noticed that. And they were right in their dissertation, in their mindset. I began to say, well, when I was here, I noticed this premise. I noticed that premise. I noticed this premise. Oh, no. And hear me. If my feelings, remember, there's a quote that we use in the world now that said, we're in our feelings. Some of us got to get past our emotions. Some of us got to be very careful not to cross certain boundaries. There is a moral code when it comes to thoughts. And I want to tell you, what you think is what you will react. What your thoughts are, you may respond to. And if your feelings feel in some kind of way, you will drive that to the bottom. You'll drive that thing, and hear me, you'll ride it until the wheels fall off. We must make sure that we understand, not only should we be in control of our feelings, but hear me, understand that my feelings are going to have some type of positive spin on it. And let me give you a conclusion real quick. I can control my feelings by controlling my thoughts. Can y'all write that down? Start controlling your feelings by controlling your thoughts. There's a song that said, build your hopes on things eternal, hold to God's unchanging hand. You got to be Baptist to know that song. And watch this here. I've learned how to allow my mind to stay in a good place, even when I know the situation is bad. There are some things right now that I know is in a very grave place, but I have learned how to keep a smile on my face, even in the midst of the opposition, in spite of the scrutiny, in spite of the disconnections. Some of us are going to have to get to a place where we understand you have to control your feelings. Sometimes we compromise because we allow things to take one inner exchange to another. One of the most dangerous things that you can do is cross-pollinate business with personal. It's very difficult to be able to, once you do that, to know how. It takes a very mature person to know exactly how to separate and keep them separate. Sometimes we allow our friendships to give us clouded judgment. Sometimes in our business relationship, you don't want to fire them because you're going to mess up your friendship. You're going to have to get to a place in your life that if you're saying, if I am willing to change my thinking, I have to be able to change my feelings. If you change your feelings, you can change your actions. And I'm telling you, when you get your feelings out of the way and keep it to the main point, you'll be able to grow and do some things. It's very funny. I was talking to someone. When we are in agreement with people, we'll like their posts, we'll share their posts, we'll make all kind of notes. You can tell when there is a disconnection, because then where you was the Hosanna today, they crucified you and put you down for someone else. I got in trouble for a statement that I made a few months ago. I said, I don't follow a lot of people anymore. I don't follow a lot of people. I don't follow people and some people in my fellowship. And I know some of y'all may say that's cold to say, but hear me. I don't want to follow it if I know that we have a proclivity and I know that you're going to share certain things. And you can tell very good when people are talking. When I was in Houston, there was about a 7-post rant that went on, and my phone began to ring. Now hear me. My thought was to not even retaliate, because watch this here. When you are a leader, you have to stay above mess. Are y'all listening to me? As leaders, you must learn how to stay above mess. You must learn how not. The best way to kill accusations and rumors is not to respond to them. If you really want to be a good leader, excuse me, you got to learn not to respond to everything. You don't be so quick to post in your emotions, because remember, the words that you speak, you may have to eat them later. You will be very responsible. And I'm gonna give you one more thing. Even when you are feeling a certain kind of way, you can't conversate and tell everything in front of people. They'll go back and they'll tell that. I come to find that out. And I'm telling you, hear me, your feelings is to get them. Your emotions is to check them. But hear me, some things you just cannot respond to. And hear me, there are breaches of security like there are breaches of friendships. There are some people right now, they are so far removed. And hear me, your emotions does not need to splatter that. You know why? Because what's killing the church today is not the Satan. It's leaders attacking leaders. And what happens is you talk to your members, and then you talking to your members, and now the members are fighting, but we're the leaders and we don't show that example. I'm good with people that leave my life. There used to be a time in my life, I'm telling you, years ago, especially when I began covering and fathering, I wasn't good at that. I was not good at that. And y'all know me. I wasn't good at that. When I got mad, you did death. Amen. But I come to find out, the more I said, if you deal with this person, you have no connectivity to me, it's the more that they did it. There are some right now, I can count at least 5 people who I know talk to 90% of my enemies, talk to them, share their posts, like their stuff, and all on their pages, blowing them all up and this, that, and the other, and think that it's cute. And don't think for 1 minute that we don't know that there's a conversation that's going on about an individual. You have to be careful, because hear me, if you are connected to it and you know they're talking and you know and they don't tell you, they're just as guilty as the individual that does it. And that is the way of society. I got to a point to where it's where the Bible said, trust no man, for man will let you down. And I got in trouble 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I got in trouble because I said, I don't trust people. I don't trust people. Because as sure as you can laugh and smile and talk about me with people, I know what you obviously can do behind my back. And can I tell you, that person's video went viral. And hear me, there was thousands of comments that agreed with what I said. But watch this here. You'll be amazed at, if you allow your feelings to get involved, you will destroy a lot more than you can actually build. Sometimes you got to be quiet.